So it's been a week since former MMA star Gina Carano has been canceled by the Disney overlords. I'm not as upset about that. I knew the Disney overlords were evil from the beginning. They removed John Boyega from Star Wars posters in China. They filmed in the province in China where they have Uyghur Muslims in prison camps and are subject to rape, forced labor, and genocide. So I'm not surprised at all by Disney's hypocrisy and why they canceled Gina Carano for a seemingly innocuous tweet. Yeah, it looks like she shared it, which said that Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Now, this was alleged by the radical left that it was a Holocaust denial or Holocaust comparison, which I don't agree with Holocaust comparisons anyways. The left does it all the time, comparing Trump and his supporters to Nazis and all that. And I don't agree with those posts. I don't see it being that bad, being fired for it, especially when, again, they're removing black people from their movie posters in China and filming in places where they have actual concentration camps, which is the closest thing to any kind of Holocaust comparison we could possibly have at this time. No, that's not what upsets me. What upsets me is the silence from Carano's co-stars in The Mandalorian. That's what upsets me. Even if you don't agree with Carano, whether you're on the left or the right, you should still stick up. If I had a coworker who said something, and this is like a center-right conservative view, if I had someone that said a center-left liberal view and maybe I didn't agree with it and they got canceled for it, I would be the first person to speak out and say, hey, like, this is bullshit. And I would say it in front of the world. And her co-stars have the power to do that, and they haven't. And everyone has had a chance where maybe they made a mistake or maybe something happened to them and their friends didn't come forward or their coworkers didn't come forward and say something. And we've all been there. And that's when you kind of realize who your real friends are. Do you think that The Mandalorian would actually allow Cara Dune to get roasted by the Empire for a tweet she said? No, The Mandalorian would come forward and help her. And so it's kind of more like, be like the characters these actors portray. Don't be like the actors who portray these characters. Even Pedro Pascal had made a Holocaust comparison comparing Trump supporters to Nazis and white supremacists. And he wasn't fired for it, and he is, of course, a great actor, and you think he would come forward and say something like, hey, even if he didn't agree with it, he could come forward and say, hey, let's give her a chance to clarify what she was saying or apologize. He didn't do it. Nobody on the show has come forward, and there's two reasons why they wouldn't come forward. Reason number one, they are so far left that they just can't accept anyone else's opinion or anyone else's versions of how they speak. Or two, they're stuck in that kind of Hollywood bubble where they're afraid of getting fired for standing up and speaking the truth. They're afraid of getting Gina Carano for stepping forward. And either way, both those things are quite kind of cowardly. Like I said, even if you don't agree with that person, you should still step forward to stick up for your friends, to stick up for your coworkers, to stick up for your family. If they make a mistake, you should step forward, and that's the right thing to do. And so the sad part is The Mandalorian is the best thing to come out of Star Wars in a long time. And then to have this kind of blemish that takes away from kind of the greatness of the show by the Disney overlords who are just super persistent and trying to ruin everything Star Wars. It's very sad. So even though her coworkers won't do the right thing and stick up for her, and her friends, some of her friends won't do the right thing and stick up for her, I will. So I don't think she should have been fired. I think she should be back on the show, and I think those who decided to fire, apparently they were trying to fire her back in November for her conservative views, they're the ones that should be fired. And the people that decided to remove John Boyega from the Star Wars posters in China because he's black, they should be fired. And the people that decided that they would film in the province where they have Uyghur Muslim prison camps, they should be fired. So unlike Disney, I care about the Chinese people. I care about the oppressed Chinese people under the CCP regime. I care about black people. I care about people on the left. I care about people on the right. I care about all people, and especially I care and respect their opinions, even though they may differ from mine. And that's the difference between me and Disney. I do like that Dana White came forward in defense of Gina Carano. Like Dana White or not, he is never afraid to give his opinion, and I respect him for that. So anyways, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you, all the views here from my MMA commentary subscribers, the greatest subscribers in the universe. I know this is a little loose MMA tie, as Gina Carano has been out of the MMA game for a while, but I still think it's important to kind of speak up and do what I believe to be the right thing. So thank you again.